You've been too nice for too long. Always saying yes when you wanted to say no. Always putting others before yourself. Always biting your tongue to keep the peace. And where has it gotten you? Overlooked. Undervalued, taken for granted. Enough is enough. This is 2025. This is your year. The year you stop letting people walk all over you. The year you stop sacrificing your happiness for the sake of others. The year you finally start living on your terms. Because let me tell you something, being nice isn't the problem. The problem is being too nice. Too nice means you keep giving when no one gives back. Too nice means you let people take advantage of your kindness. Too nice means you put everyone else's needs above your own. And in the end, you're the one left feeling drained, exhausted, and empty. So today I'm here to tell you, stop being too nice. Stop apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Stop saying yes when your soul is screaming no. Stop allowing people to disrespect you just because you don't want to cause a scene. Being kind is a virtue, but being a pushover, that's a weakness. And in 2025, weakness is not an option. When you're too nice, people start expecting it. At first, it feels good to be the one who's always there, always available, always willing to help. You feel needed, valued, and maybe even appreciated, but over time something shifts. The same kindness that once felt like a strength starts to feel like a burden. You notice that the people you've always been there for aren't there for you when you need them. The ones you've supported through their struggles don't seem to notice yours. Being too nice comes at a cost, and that cost is often your own well-being. You give and give until there's nothing left, and yet somehow people still expect more. You feel drained, exhausted, and sometimes even resentful, but you push those feelings down because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want to let anyone down. You don't want to be seen as selfish. So you keep saying yes when you really want to say no. You keep putting others first, believing that one day they'll do the same for you. But that day never comes. The truth is, when you are always nice, always accommodating, always putting everyone else's needs before your own, people start taking you for granted. They don't do it because they're bad people. They do it because they've learned that you will always be there, no matter what. They've learned that they don't have to put in effort because you'll always pick up the slack. They've learned that your kindness is something they can rely on, even at the expense of your own happiness. And the worst part, the moment you finally decide to set a boundary, the moment you finally say no, the moment you finally choose yourself, people act like you've changed. They get upset. They question why you're being so difficult. They make you feel guilty for not being the version of you that was easy for them to take advantage of. But you haven't changed. You've simply woken up. You've realized that constantly putting others first is not noble, it's self-destructive. You've realized that the more you give without limits, the less people appreciate it. You've realized that the only way to truly be at peace is to start prioritizing yourself. And that means breaking free from the cycle of overgiving, over-sacrificing, and over-explaining. Being too nice doesn't just drain you emotionally, it affects every aspect of your life. In your career, it means working extra hours without recognition, taking on tasks that aren't yours and letting people walk over you because you don't want to seem uncooperative. In your relationships, it means tolerating behavior you shouldn't tolerate, making excuses for people who don't deserve it, and staying silent when you should speak up. In your personal growth, it means delaying your own dreams, putting your own goals on the back burner, and constantly prioritizing what others need over what you need. And if you're not careful, it can consume you. It can turn into resentment. You start feeling angry, not just at others, but at yourself. You wonder why you keep letting it happen. You question why you can't seem to stand up for yourself. You feel trapped in a cycle that you don't know how to break, but here's the truth, you can break it. You just have to decide that your needs matter too. People who truly respect you will not leave because you start setting boundaries. They will not get angry because you start choosing yourself. They will not make you feel guilty for prioritizing your own well-being. The ones who do, they were only there because it benefited them. So ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to sacrifice yourself for the comfort of others? How much longer will you keep giving to people who never give back? How much longer will you allow yourself to be drained, exhausted, and unappreciated? Because at some point, you have to make a choice, continue being too nice and stay stuck in the cycle, or choose yourself and finally take control of your life. Setting boundaries is not about being rude or selfish, it's about self-respect. When you don't have boundaries, people assume they can have unlimited access to your time, energy, and emotions. They don't necessarily do it to hurt you, but because you've never drawn a line, they keep pushing. They ask for favors without considering if you have the time. They expect you to be there for them even when it's inconvenient for you. They assume you will always say yes because you always have, and over time, this wears you down. You feel stretched thin, constantly giving and giving while your own needs are ignored. The mistake many people make is believing that setting boundaries will push people away. They think saying no will make them seem cold or unkind. But the reality is, people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. It's only those who were taking advantage of you that will get upset when you start enforcing them. And that's the first sign that you were never in a balanced relationship to begin with. When you set a boundary, you are not shutting people out, you are filtering who deserves access to you. Not everyone should be allowed unlimited access to your time, emotions, or energy. Some people take and never give back. Some people drain you rather than support you. Some people only come to you when they need something. And if you don't set boundaries, you will find yourself constantly exhausted, constantly overwhelmed, and constantly wondering why no one considers your needs the way you consider theirs. People will test your boundaries the moment you set them. If you've always been the person who says yes to everything, the moment you say no, they will push back. They might try to guilt trip you. They might act surprised. They might even get angry. But that's because they were comfortable with the old version of you, the one who never said no, the one who always made sacrifices, the one who put their needs above your own. And when they see you changing, it threatens their convenience. But here's the truth. People who respect you will respect your boundaries. They will understand that you have limits, that you have needs, that you are not just there to serve them at all times. And the ones who don't respect your boundaries, they were never truly respecting you to begin with. You don't need to explain or justify your boundaries. You don't need to over-explain why you are saying no to saying no to saying that doesn't serve you. A simple "I can't do that" or "that doesn't work for me" is enough. The more you try to justify yourself, the more people will try to argue, push back, and make you feel guilty. Boundaries are not up for debate. They are your way of protecting your peace, your time, and your mental well-being. One of the most powerful things about setting boundaries is that it shifts your entire energy. When you start saying no to things that drain you, you free up space for things that uplift you. When you stop letting people take advantage of your kindness, you create room for people who genuinely appreciate you. When you stop giving unlimited access to people who don't deserve it, you start valuing yourself more. And the moment you start valuing yourself, your confidence grows. You stop feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself. You stop feeling like you owe everyone your time and energy. You realize that it's okay to put yourself first. Because if you don't, no one else will. Boundaries are a form of self-love. They are a declaration that your time, energy, and emotions matter. They are a sign that you respect yourself enough to not let others take advantage of you. And once you start enforcing them, you will notice a shift not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. You will feel lighter, freer, and more in control of your life. You will no longer feel like a prisoner to other people's expectations. Instead, you will feel empowered, knowing that you have the right to decide what you allow in your life and what you don't. A saying no is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It's a word that can change your life, yet so many people struggle to say it. They worry about disappointing others, about being seen as rude, about hurting someone's feelings. But in reality, saying no is not about pushing people away. It's about protecting your time, energy, and peace. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you are saying no to yourself. You are sacrificing your own priorities, your own well-being, and your own happiness for the sake of making someone else comfortable. Many people fear saying no because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be seen as selfish or unkind. But the truth is, you are not responsible for how others feel when you set a boundary. You are responsible for taking care of yourself. If someone gets upset because you said no to something that doesn't align with your priorities, that is their problem, not yours. People who respect you will respect your choices. The only ones who will have a problem with it are the ones who were benefiting from your inability to say no. Saying no is not about being rude or shutting people out. It's about making intentional choices. It's about deciding what is worth your time and what isn't. It's about recognizing that your energy is valuable and should not be wasted on things that do not bring value to your life. If something does not align with your goals, your values, or your peace, then you have every right to say no without feeling guilty. The problem is many people have been conditioned to believe that saying no makes them a bad person. From childhood, we are taught to be agreeable, to be accommodating, to avoid conflict. We are told that saying yes is the polite thing to do. But politeness should never come at the cost of your own well-being. If saying yes means overextending yourself, draining your energy, or compromising your values, then it's not politeness, it's self-sacrifice. And constantly sacrificing yourself for the sake of others will only lead to resentment. When you struggle to say no, you end up feeling trapped. You feel obligated to do things you don't want to do. You feel like you have no control over your own time. You feel exhausted because you are constantly doing things for others while neglecting your own needs. And the worst part is, people start expecting it from you. They assume that you will always say yes, that you will always be available, that you will always accommodate their needs. And the moment you finally start saying no, they get upset. They act like you have changed. But in reality, you haven't changed, you've just decided to stop putting yourself last. The most successful and respected people in the world know the power of saying no. They understand that time is their most valuable asset and they refuse to waste it on things that don't align with their goals. They know that every yes they give to something unimportant is a no to something important. And that's the mindset you need to adopt if you want to take control of your life. You need to start seeing your time and energy as sacred. You need to stop giving it away so easily. Why? You need to realize that you do not owe anyone an explanation for your choices. Saying no can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to being a people pleaser. You might feel guilty. You might feel like you are letting someone down, but that discomfort is temporary. The more you practice saying no, the easier it becomes. You start realizing that you don't have to justify your decisions. You don't have to explain yourself. A simple no, I can't, or that doesn't work for me is enough. You don't owe anyone a detailed reason. You don't need to soften the blow by over-explaining. Your time is yours and you have the right to decide how you use it. Once you start embracing the power of saying no, everything changes. You start feeling more in control of your life. You stop feeling obligated to do things that drain you. You stop overcommitting yourself. You stop allowing others to dictate how you spend your time. And most importantly, you start prioritizing yourself in a way that you never have before. Because when you say no to things that don't serve you, you are really saying yes to yourself. You are saying yes to your peace. You are saying yes to your growth. You are saying yes to the things that truly matter. Living for approval is one of the most exhausting ways to go through life. When you base your worth on what others think of you, you give away your power. You become a prisoner to opinions, constantly adjusting yourself to fit expectations that aren't even your own. You say things you don't truly believe, do things you don't truly want to do, and suppress parts of yourself just to be accepted. And yet, no matter how much you try, it's never enough. There will always be someone who disapproves, someone who criticizes, someone who wants you to be something you're not. The harsh reality is that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Trying to make everyone happy is a losing battle. The more you chase approval, the more you lose yourself. You start making choices based on what others expect instead of what you truly want. You measure your success by how many people validate you instead of by how fulfilled you feel. And the worst part is the approval you're chasing is often temporary. People's opinions change. What they admire today, they might criticize tomorrow. What they encourage you to do now, they might judge you for later. So why waste your life trying to please people whose opinions are never consistent? The most powerful thing you can do is break free from the need for validation. When you stop seeking approval, you gain something even more valuable: self-respect. You start making decisions that align with your values, not someone else's expectations. You stop apologizing for who you are. You stop dimming your light just to make others comfortable. And in doing so, you attract the right people into your life, people who appreciate the real you, not the version you create to gain approval. One of the biggest fears people have about letting go of approval seeking is that they will lose relationships. They worry that if they stop saying yes to everything, if they stop conforming, if they start standing up for themselves, people will leave. And the truth is, some people will. But those people were never truly with you. They were with the version of you that catered to their needs. They stayed because you made their life easier, not because they valued who you are. Losing them is not a loss, it's a blessing. Because when you let go of the wrong people, you make space for the right ones. The people who respect you for being true to yourself. The ones who don't need you to shrink yourself just to fit into their world. Many people spend their whole lives trying to prove themselves to others. They chase success not because it fulfills them, but because they want to impress someone, parents, friends, society. They hold back from pursuing their true passions because they fear judgment. They hesitate to speak up because they don't want to be criticized. And in the process, they live a life that isn't even their own. But what happens when you wake up one day and realize that all the approval you worked so hard for didn't bring you happiness? That the people you tried to impress have moved on? That the validation you were chasing was never worth sacrificing your authenticity? You have to decide what matters more, being liked or being respected. When you prioritize respect, you stop worrying about fitting in. You stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand you. You stop compromising your values just to avoid conflict. And most importantly, you stop letting fear control you, because that's what approval seeking really is: fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being judged, fear of not being enough. But the truth is, you're already enough. You don't need external validation to prove your worth. You don't need to be liked by everyone to be valuable. The only approval that truly matters is your own. The moment you stop living for approval is the moment you set yourself free. You start making decisions that align with your true self. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop letting other people dictate your happiness. And that's when real confidence is born, not from the opinions of others, but from knowing that you are living life on your own terms. Choosing yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of survival. For too long, you have put others ahead of yourself, made sacrifices that left you drained, and prioritized everyone else's happiness while neglecting your own. You have been taught that being a good person means always being available, always saying yes, always making sure no one else is uncomfortable, even at the cost of your own well-being. But where has that left you? Tired, frustrated, and often resentful. The truth is, if you don't choose yourself, no one else will. The world has conditioned you to believe that prioritizing yourself is wrong, that putting your needs first is somehow selfish, that making decisions based on what is best for you means you don't care about others. But this is a lie. Choosing yourself does not mean you stop loving or supporting the people in your life. It simply means you stop doing it at your own expense. It means recognizing that you deserve the same care, respect, and consideration that you so freely give to everyone else. It means understanding that your happiness is just as important as anyone else's. The problem is, when you have spent your whole life putting others first, choosing yourself feels uncomfortable. It feels unnatural. You worry about how others will react. You fear that people will call you selfish. You hesitate because you don't want to disappoint anyone. But here's what you need to understand: people who truly care about you will not be angry when you choose yourself. They will support your growth, not resist it. They will respect your decisions, not try to guilt trip you into putting them first. The only ones who will have a problem with it are the ones who benefited from your inability to say no, from your constant sacrifices, from your endless giving without expecting anything in return. And if those people leave when you start prioritizing yourself, let them go. Because anyone who truly values you will want to see you take care of yourself. For too long, you have believed that if you just give a little more, if you just try a little harder, people will finally see your worth. But the truth is, your worth is not determined by how much you do for others. It is not measured by how much you sacrifice. It is not defined by how much you are willing to tolerate. Your worth is already within you, and it is time you started acting like it. Choosing yourself is not about ignoring others. It is about making sure you are not ignored. It is about finally putting yourself on your own priority list. It is about recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot continue to give when you are running on empty. You cannot keep sacrificing your peace just to keep others comfortable. And think about the times when you said yes when you wanted to say no. The times when you put your dreams on hold because someone else needed you. The times when you stayed in situations that drained you because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. How much more of your life are you willing to give away? How much longer are you willing to wait before you finally choose yourself? Because here's the reality, no one is going to do it for you. No one is going to come along and say, now it's your turn. You have to take that turn for yourself. You have to decide that you are worth it, that your dreams matter, that your happiness is not a luxury, but a necessity. When you finally start choosing yourself, everything changes. You begin to attract people who respect you instead of those who take advantage of you. You find yourself surrounded by relationships that are balanced instead of one-sided. You stop feeling drained because you are no longer giving away your energy to things that do not serve you. And most importantly, you start feeling free from guilt, free from obligation, free from the idea that your worth is tied to what you can do for others. Because the moment you choose yourself, you reclaim your power. And when you reclaim your power, you start living life on your own terms. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. It is not about being the loudest person in the room or constantly proving yourself to others. It is about knowing your worth, standing firm in your beliefs, and refusing to let others dictate how you feel about yourself. Too many people wait for confidence to come to them, as if one day they will magically wake up and feel fearless. But confidence doesn't work that way. It is a skill, a habit, and a mindset that must be cultivated daily. And the first step to building confidence is to stop seeking external validation. When you rely on others to make you feel good about yourself, you are giving away your power. You are allowing their opinions, their approval, and their recognition to determine your worth. And the problem with this is that external validation is inconsistent. One day people praise you, the next they criticize you. If your confidence is based on how others see you, you will always feel unstable. True confidence comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and refusing to let anyone shake that foundation. It comes from trusting yourself, from making decisions without second guessing, and from understanding that you are enough as you are. The reason many people struggle with confidence is that they are constantly comparing themselves to others. They look at what others have, what they are doing, how successful they seem, and suddenly feel like they are not enough. But comparison is the enemy of confidence. It distracts you from your own progress and makes you feel like you are always behind. The truth is, everyone is on their own path. No one has the exact same journey, the same challenges, or the same opportunities as you. Focusing on what others have achieved will only make you lose sight of your own potential. Instead of comparing, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Confidence also comes from action. You cannot think your way into being confident. You have to act your way into it. Every time you take a step forward despite fear, every time you speak up when you would rather stay silent, every time you push yourself outside your comfort zone, you are building confidence. It is not about waiting until you feel ready. It is about doing it anyway. The more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. The more you put yourself in situations that challenge you, the stronger you become. Confidence is built through experience, through overcoming challenges, and through proving to yourself that you are capable. Another thing that kills confidence is self-doubt. That little voice in your head that tells you that you are not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. But here's the truth, self-doubt is a liar. It is not based on facts, it is based on fear. It is the result of years of conditioning, of people telling you what you can and cannot do, of past failures that you have held onto for too long. But failure does not define you. How you respond to it does. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than they can count. The difference is that they did not let failure stop them. They used it as fuel to keep going, to learn, to grow. If you want to be confident, you have to change the way you talk to yourself. You have to stop feeding your mind with negativity and start reinforcing your strengths. Confidence is also about setting boundaries. When you allow people to walk over you, when you let others dictate your choices, when you stay silent to avoid conflict, you are chipping away at your own self-respect. Confidence is knowing when to say no. It is standing up for yourself even when it's uncomfortable. It is refusing to let anyone treat you in a way that does not align with your worth. The more you respect yourself, the more confident you become. At the end of the day, confidence is about taking ownership of your life. It is about realizing that you are not here to impress others, but to live fully and unapologetically as yourself. It is about trusting that you have everything you need within you to succeed. It is about believing in yourself, even when no one else does. Because confidence is not about being perfect, it is about knowing that you are worthy exactly as you are.